Fit 40 Radio, episode number 8, a recap of February. All right, welcome back, Team F40. This is just a quick recap of the month of February. Now, I don't know if it felt like this to you, but for me, I feel like February just completely evaporated. I know it's a short month, but it's hard to believe that it's already March. So looking back, I led off the month with the Maine Track Clubs Mid-Winter 10-Mile Classic, and that was to benefit area track programs and help develop the next generation of runners. And you'll be able to hear a full recap of that event coming soon. My training runs have continued with Jude on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm slowly trying to add mileage each week to get ready for the full and half marathons that are coming up during this year. The Hatchet Mountain Hooligans ski racing team is getting faster each week, which is awesome, and they're posting some solid times for our first go at ski racing. Although we are sad to lose one of our members to an ill-timed knee injury, I think clearly the lesson is skiing out west in waist-deep powder is way more dangerous than shaving East Coast ice. Anyway, we're wishing you a speedy recovery, Aaron. I hope it doesn't affect too much of the paddling season for you. The Camel's Hump Challenge, which is a benefit for the Alzheimer's Association, had to unfortunately be rescheduled to March 11th. Apparently, they had less than ideal snow conditions on the trail. But seeing how it was school vacation week, we made the trip over to Vermont and visited our friends Jesse and Kara. Kara took us up and introduced us to the Craftsbury Outdoor Center, where she teaches Nordic skiing. We were able to experience just a few of the 100 kilometers of groomed trails that they have open for cross-country skiing, and I was able to sit down in the clubhouse and talk with Hannah, a longtime Craftsbury skier and biathlete, and her partner Nils about skiing, training at Craftsbury, and giving back. Can you just tell me a little bit about your connection to the touring center, Hannah?
Sure. I guess I grew up skiing here. When I was a kid, I would ski with the ski club, and I skied here from when I was 11 or 12. I'd come here training, nice. A number of times a week. This program was a lot smaller than it is now. And yeah, racing with the Craftsbury Club. And then I went away and raced in college. And then I actually came back after college and joined the Craftsbury Green Racing Project. Nice. And while I was in college, actually, my parents bought the Craftsbury Outdoor Center. Okay.
So there had been a Craftsbury Center here prior to
your
parents.
Yeah, and it had, very similar missions and everything. The buildings, a lot of the buildings are new. There's definitely been a number of improvements since then. And it's also a nonprofit now, which I think helps a lot with kind of running it. Yeah. So then I was a member of the Craftsbury Green Racing Project for a number of years. So living here, training here, working here, doing a variety of different things. Nice. And then sorry.
No, and I think and then is the big and then. What's
and then I kind of joined the U.S. biathlon team, and I was racing there. I wasn't in Craftsbury nearly as much. I went to the 2014 Olympics, and then
in Sochi?
In biathlon in Sochi. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I retired from racing, I guess, almost 2 years ago. Okay. So the end of the 2016 season.
And so what's on the horizon for you now in terms of after your competitive racing career?
Skiing for fun and enjoying it. The lifelong part of the sport. We've both been helping coach the kids programs here just since we've been back. And that's been really fun. I love, kind of sharing my love of it because I just really love to ski.
Right.
Yeah.
So you grew up in New Zealand?
Yeah, and then moved to Maine, went to high school in Maine, and then...
Did your parents just open an atlas and say, no. New Zealand is nice and all, but where is the best place on earth we could possibly live? And they're like, oh, here it is, Maine.
No, not quite. My dad was actually originally from Maine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. so it wasn't quite as random as it might seem. Yeah. So that's the connection to Maine, and then, then skied here a couple of years after college, or based out of Craftsbury. Okay. And then, I don't know, sort of... went my way and just ended up back here.
Do you have an Olympic connection as well?
No.
Okay.
No Olympic connection.
So you're purely skiing for fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I just really like skiing. So yeah, it's a good place to be.
So the Craftsbury Green Racing Project, what's the sort of mission of that program?
It's to basically make it possible for skiers to keep skiing after college and to race and to keep improving. And there's a few other clubs in the country, but I would say the Green Racing Project is one of the top 3 clubs as far as, if you look at the skiers at the Olympics, they're almost all from 3 clubs.
Do you have a sister now that's
Yep.
competing?
Yeah, my sister, she's 2 years younger than me, and she is in Pyeongchang right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How's she doing?
She's doing great, honestly. She has had personal bests, 2 personal bests.
Nice.
Yep.
Awesome.
Which is all you can ask for at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Yep.
How was your Olympic experience? What was like when I've had a little bit of experience through paddling and training and being close to sort of the Olympic Training Center and that sort of development, and just seeing like friends that have gone to Rio and stuff like that, and they come back and it's like, well, how was it? Like from a first person point of view, what was your experience like in Sochi?
In some ways, it was way cooler than I was expecting, or like incredibly cool. And there was also a few ways that it just wasn't quite what I was hoping it would be, I guess. Yeah. The amount of like support and kind of people paying attention to what I was doing and, supporting me and, being excited about the sport was really cool. And that was, I think, the most exciting thing for me. And, the aspects that I got of kind of, meeting the Russian volunteers and being there with all the other countries was really cool. Sochi was a weird Olympics. It was just really spread out, and I didn't get to spend much time with, the athlete, like other U.S. athletes or like even see the other sports. And it was really...
Because you guys were sequestered.
Yeah, we were really isolated. And it just, there's so much it's such a big production. It's wasteful. I don't know. I kind of think they should just have like a couple Olympic venues and just make them good and just go there. Places where it's actually winter too. Like Sochi wasn't even really a winter place. I mean, it was beautiful, but they also clear cut the top of the mountain to put our condos there. That made it a little bit hard to feel really good about the situation there.
Especially coming from such an idyllic setting as Craftsbury. And going all of a sudden.
And I raced. I mean, on the World Cup, we raced in so many beautiful places that were, actual winter places where there was culture around it and, infrastructure already in place and like tourism based around it and stuff, Yeah,
it is sort of a weird model in terms of the Olympic development. Part of this podcast is like I turned 40 this year, and I'm trying to do 40 challenges. And so do you guys have any like big fitness goals or big challenges that you're sort of excited about for this year? I'm gonna put you on the spot, Nils.
I mean, definitely a few races.
What kind of races?
Ski races for the most part. And there's some that, I don't know, when you're competing seriously, there's a lot of like the smaller local races you don't have the time to do. Yeah. So I'm pretty excited to do the Stowe Derby.
Nice.
I've never done it,
That's next weekend, right?
I think so, yeah.
Awesome.
It's the 25th or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just sort of things like that. It's mostly these smaller races that when you're like traveling and racing seriously, you just don't have the time or you're just never there. So yeah, pretty excited for that.
Yeah. We've been discussing trying to do something like ski a large section of the Catamount Trail or a lot of it, something like that, like more sort of adventure things that you don't get to do.
Absolutely, when you're doing a lot of training volume.
Yeah. And like when we were in New Zealand for like over a year last year, and we did like a long like a bike tour, from like the North Island down to the South Island, and it's like things like that like you're like, man, this could be really good training, but you don't do it when you're like an athlete with a very structured schedule.
Absolutely, so, yeah, it's good base, it's good.
Oh yeah, and I think you could make it fit into a training schedule, but people, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah.
You got to figure out how many sets that is, or reps, or kilometers.
Yeah, I don't know, or I don't know what it is. Yeah.
It's a purely different activity.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know you guys are pressed for time, so thanks for sitting down with me. Yeah. One last question before I let you go, though, is like looking out at sort of lifetime fitness, like do you have any tips for people that are maybe just getting into cross-country skiing? Like where can they go right in terms of like getting the right equipment or getting the right instruction, or like what's going to make that process of learning how to cross-country ski easier or less frustrating?
I'd say like a little bit of technique goes a long ways, but in the end it sort of comes down to time on skis. So you just got to spend a lot of time on snow and you just get more comfortable and it just gets easier.
So there's no shortcut?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, it's like, yeah, in the end, it's just like being comfortable on snow on skis.
Yeah, it varies a lot from person to person, I think. I think probably, especially for older people, just doing a lot of work on balance would be really important.
Okay, awesome.
And that's probably really good for every, working on that balance and then keeping it as you get older, I think is so important for people. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been spending a lot of time on alpine gear, and I got on my skinny skate skis, and I took 3 strides and fell over.
But having at least being used to skis and the sliding and stuff is helpful. So, yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much. I'll let you guys go get some lunch. They were super gracious with their time. They had just finished up a long ski tour in the morning and were getting ready to head back out and coach a herd of kids in the afternoon. I'm looking forward to getting a few more kilometers in when I'm up there next week. Now, Craftsbury is awesome. It's like where I envision Norwegians go when they die. It's literally a Nordic skiing paradise. So go ahead and check it out at craftsbury.com. And if you find yourself up in Vermont, make the trip up there. It is worth it. I hope you had a chance to catch some of the biathlon events as well as many of the other disciplines at the Winter Olympics in South Korea. I'm always a little bit more inspired to train when the Olympics roll around. There seemed to be a lot of chatter this year about curling. So I'm working on trying to get some ice time at a local rink and round up some friends that want to give it a shot. And maybe we'll make an episode of it. March is going to be super busy for Fit 40 Radio. Starting tomorrow, it's the WinterKids 24 Hours of Sugarloaf event. Now, I'll be attempting to ski for 24 hours to help more Maine families be able to get out and enjoy our winters in Maine. The following weekend, I'll be back in Vermont for the Camel's Hump Challenge. Hopefully it's a ski, but it might end up being a trail run unless the snow starts falling. And at the end of the month, it's the Maine Adaptive Sports Ski-A-Thon at Sunday River. So right now, I'm scheduling events out through the summer and into the fall. So if you know an event or you're planning an event that I should participate in, please send me a message on the Fit 40 Radio Facebook page. And as always, I'll post links to that on the show notes page so it's much easier to find. Until next time, Team F40, I encourage you to get moving, do some good, and find lifelong fitness with Fit 40 Radio.